What's up? It's the Objective Jerk, and I'm said jerk. How's everybody doing? Everybody's doing a good job? Everybody's doing a good job. Hope everybody's doing well. Yeah. Just want to let everybody know I appreciate the comments, good and bad. But what's up? So I just got a couple things that I felt like talking about. Again, some of these things, like, my wife doesn't, it's not her thing, and my kids and stuff. So it's like, that's why I do this. Cause, I live, most of the people that I call friends are either no longer friends because I support Trump, or, they're asleep right now, or they're doing something. It's just, it makes it kind of difficult to just talk with people on a regular basis. I had my father, but sadly he passed away some years ago. So this kind of microphone fills that void, I guess, as sad as that sounds. But let's see. Yesterday I ordered my parts for my bike, the drivetrain, which I'm excited about. Ordered it from a seller on Facebook, which is like, because there's bike shops here, but they don't, they're kind of limited with what they have. I mean, maybe in Lawag and stuff, but one of my riding buddies was like, dude, go to this page, so follow this page, and like they're always selling stuff and this and that, and it's actually, that's what people kind of do. So found the guy. I talked about it already. Everything seems good. So I messaged him and I'm like, hey, I'm ready. So then he FaceTimed me and he's like showing me, all the stuff. And then he's going to send. So, anywhere people try and scam you, but it is kind of a little more prevalent here, so cash on delivery is a big payment option, or it's pretty popular, right? Because you don't want to pay for it until you get it. But you can't open, like, if it comes in, obviously if you order something that's like a certain size and then you get this tiny box and you're like, what the hell is this? Then something's not right. But you can't open stuff. That's kind of a policy, which I understand, but I think some people might take advantage of that. So when the guy goes to ship it out, which is probably going to be pretty soon, he's going to FaceTime me again. He's really thorough, and I guess he's really trying to, ensure he wants to have a good rating and everything, but he's going to put everything in the box, show my name and address on it. And then I want him to do like a little, kind of like a seal, like a little signature or some little marking on there. So it's like, so I will know, so I can look at it. And then, so when it comes in, I'll immediately recognize it, and hopefully nothing was tampered. And because I'll be a little, it's not like I'm spending thousands of dollars. I'm spending like 150, something like that. But still, if I'm spending 150, I want to get what I want. So I got that going. Oh, I had something, ordering that from him. Well, anyway, and then, I'm hopefully it comes in tomorrow, because he says it'll just take a day. And then get it installed on my bike, and Bob's your uncle. Start riding on Sunday, hopefully. I've never installed a crankshaft or, a derailleur and all that kind of stuff. So this will be my first time, but I'm not worried about that. The thing I'm worried about is the initial setting up the derailleur to get it to work and fine tune it and everything. I have a feeling that I'm going to be messing with that for a little bit, trying to get it down. But that's what YouTube's for, right? So let's see, got that going. I have a mouse problem, which is annoying. The mouse is starting to get a little more adventurous, and now it's starting to get and eat certain things, or there's little nibble holes on various food items. And my cat sucks, apparently. You know, I don't feed her at night to keep her hungry, because in the morning she acts like she's starving. But I don't know. I had a cat a while ago now. It was a black cat. She had a funky tail, and she was a really good hunter. Like, she killed everything, which was awesome. But she did not get along with the dogs at all. Even though the dogs weren't, she just didn't have the temperament to be around dogs. And if she runs, the dogs are going to chase her, and then they might get, they might, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's kind of a weird I remember she had some kittens, because I didn't get her fixed in time, and she ended up getting pregnant, and she had some kittens, and I was trying to introduce the kittens with the little puppies, they're full grown now, dogs, to kind of, so they get used to them, and she just kept freaking out and going after the puppies and stuff, and I was just like, oh, so I had to find her a new home. And then I was like, I don't need another cat. I like cats, but I don't. Like, they're annoying, but they're useful. I don't know. But I've told the story of the cat I have now. She was on the side of the road. I felt bad. So now I have her. But I think she sucks at hunting, though. I don't know. Like, she's just not very, she's still young, so I can't talk too much, I guess. But, and then, of course, she did catch a mouse once, but all she did was play with it and ended up escaping. But I had to, throw her in front of it to see it, there was a mouse running down the hallway, and she's just laying there. I'm like, get the mouse. And she's just like, I don't want to. So it's like she wants to sleep with, in my room or with the kids at night, or at least hang out. She doesn't do much sleeping. But I'm like, no, she's got to be out in the living room, in the kitchen area, so she can hopefully see the mouse, So far, it's not working. So I got to go buy some mouse traps. We have a rat trap, because there's rats here too. So it's like you got mice and you got big ass rats. But the rat trap is, the mouse will fit right through this little cage. We had a rat problem, or not a problem, but we did have a rat that was climbing. It was round. So that's when I got the rat trap. But then the rat trap is like a funky, like it's I don't know. So the door opens up, it's on a spring mechanism. So when they pull on whatever kind of treat you have in there, it slams the door. But it's got like a big, rod, like a thing that hooks onto the hook. So I had put it in a place, and it ended up getting caught on the wall. So it didn't close all the way. So the rat didn't get caught. But then now it hasn't been around, so I don't know what's going on. Not to say it won't be back, but yeah, you see squished rats on the road all the time. We live out in the country, in the farm, it's kind of expected, I guess. Farmland and everything, so. But I can't honestly say, I can't remember if I ever saw a rat in the States. I know they're there, but I don't remember seeing mice. I don't know. But anyway, so there's that. What else? I think that's it. So yeah, as soon as I'm done recording this, I got to go get some mouse traps. I had a mouse problem in Iraq. I remember the first time we had we stayed in, I probably told this story, but it's an episode that's so old and long ago. Oh well. But we stayed in a mausoleum area right in the middle of Baghdad, which was next to the monument for the Iraq-Iran war. And the mausoleum was for a cousin of Saddam's that I guess he actually had killed or something, but he still had. Anyway, so, you know, the tomb was in the middle of this building, and it was kind of like a pentagram, octagon or pentagon type shape, or like, you know, octagon. And then we had each squad, because it was just my platoon, had like an area, and then inside those areas, it was like we had our little sleeping arrangements, but it was basically like cubicles. So we just had boards that kind of separated, and you could stand up and you could look out over and see, but you know, you had your own little area or whatever. So I had a cot, a little mattress, I had a fan. I remember I had a chair, and that's where I kept my stuff. And then I had like this metal, man, I wonder if you guys can hear that. Some drumming going on. Some sort of parade. But anyway, so I had like a little metal shelf, like a I don't know, container, like a steel lockable, you know, I can't think of the word right now, but it was like a little bookcase, but it was metal. You could close it and you could lock it if you want to. I didn't need to lock it. I don't think I did. It was my squad or my platoon. But, you know, I had my stuff in there, personal stuff, and then I had some snacks or whatever, right? And I started having, so, you know, you get care packages when you're overseas and whatnot, and I had Kit Kats, and I had a mouse that was chewing on my Kit Kats, and I was just like, oh, I was getting so pissed because, you know, they're hard. I could only get them through the you know, the care packages. I couldn't buy them there. Or I want to say they had those green ones or something. But anyway, so, you know, I was getting pissed. And so I was able to get a rat trap, not a mouse trap, but a rat trap, which is, you know, a mouse trap, but bigger. And I did see the mouse. Like, there was one time I opened it and I was going in there to grab something. And I just saw it just jump straight for like the corner of the container, and it just dropped down and took off. So, because there was like, you know, I had like a little shelf, and then, but it was all metal. So it was like the corners, there was like an opening for it to fit through. So that's kind of the way it was traveling, right? And I'd already, like I think I put a piece of Kit Kat on there, but he was able to get it without setting it off because he's a mouse and it's a rat trap. So I was like, I was getting kind of frustrated and pissed off. But so when I saw him do his little jump to the corner, I was like, okay, so that's probably his little path, the route he takes, right? So what I did was I put the rat trap with nothing on it, and I just stuck it right up into the corner there. So if he came down, you know, he would just hopefully maybe hit it. I did that, and it was like within an hour or something. I remember I was just sitting in there, and all of a sudden I heard, waka! You know, I heard it go off, and I was like, oh, yes! And then so I go in there, and I open it, and I pull it out, and I see it. It's all, you know, and I'm like, ha, son of a bitch, because I was like getting pissed off, you know. But then it was like, it was still alive, and it was like, it was still kind of moving a little bit, and then it was jacked up, like bones were sticking out because that rat trap just did more than, you know, break its neck. It like freaking smashed it. And then I felt a little bad for a little bit. But anyway, so that's a mouse story there. So yeah, what else is going on? So I got like a little message from an aunt who's a liberal, or she's definitely anti-Trump. And it was just a post from Facebook talking about, basically talking crap about RFK, and like they're gonna stop some of the vaccines and this and that. So there's not going to be a flu vaccine for flu season is what it's saying, basically, even though flu season just ended. And it talks about how he's an anti-vaxxer and all this kind of stuff. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. So I just sent her back like, he's not an anti-vaxxer. He's an what did I say? I think I could, maybe I'll. But it's like, he's not an anti-vaxxer. He's just against the amount of vaccines that are basically unneeded and the poisons in the food, Yeah, I was like, yeah, he was hired to do. Yeah, what he was hired to do. He is not an anti-vaxxer or vaccine. He is anti-unchecked and unnecessary poisons being given to children, whether food or vaccines, perpetuated by companies and pharmaceutical companies in efforts to make more money, which is true. It's like, how much money did Big Pharma make during the COVID? You know what I mean? And then you have, I don't know, but I know the amount of vaccines from when I was a kid till now is like tripled or close to it, and it's like, and and myself and RFK, because I've listened to him talk, and I hate listening to him talk because his voice drives me nuts. But, there are vaccines that are needed, but not 70-something vaccines or whatever it is. Why are, like, babies given hepatitis B vaccines as babies? It's like when supposedly there was like a farm, I don't know, some whatever. So basically people weren't taking hepatitis B vaccines because they didn't need it unless, they had some sexual, unless they got, because you get that transmitted through, sex and blood, sort of like AIDS in a way, dirty needles, things like that. Or, a kid could get it if their mother has it, you know what I mean? But, so now they're having all kids get it, even though they're most likely never going to ever get in a situation where they're going to contract it, Contract it? That's the wrong word, huh? But it's just stuff like that. It's just like, why is there... It's just, there's too much. There's too much. And all that crap does, it does mess with your, the biological makeup of your body, And it's like, that needs to be looked at. And the other thing is, there was a law passed to where pharmaceutical companies could not be sued for any kind of, vaccines or medicines that they make that end up, not working and being bad, which is a lot of them. And as soon as they passed that, that's when all of a sudden vaccines went through the roof. And now instead of 20, we're getting like 70 vaccines, as children and stuff. So it's like, they're not trying to get rid of vaccines. It's just they're trying to minimize companies getting rich off of unnecessary vaccines. Like, why is that so bad? I don't know. I don't get it. I love my aunt. And the thing is, too, is my aunt, she's a nurse. And, she's a good person. And I know she has good intentions and stuff. And she works in a hospital and she cares. So I think she's a little biased to the fact that there are evil doctors out there. You know what I mean? And I don't know. But, plus also if you're just hearing those gaslighting, oh my God, there's not going to be, and you just hear that one side of it, then yeah, you're going to kind of like, oh, this is horrible. But it's like, dude, you gotta listen to both lies.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Thanks again for listening to The Objective Jerk. I greatly appreciate it. If you could, like, subscribe, comment on wherever you're finding this, and you can also email me at theobjectivejerk@gmail.com. So, hope you're enjoying it, and please continue on with the episode.
Because both sides tell lies, right? Or embellishments or whatever. You got to get them both to get the truth. I always say it. Either watch all the news or none of it. And then, speaking of like the news, you got freaking, what's his name? Jack Tapper. This dude is a piece of shit. This is why nobody trusts the media, you know? Because this guy, he is about to or just released a book. Here, I'm gonna read you. Well, actually, no, first. So there, you know, Biden was on the right, and people have been saying for years that Biden is not 100% there. The way he moves and talks and stutters and this and that on stage and does all the shit, he's declining. His mental, you know, his age is catching up with him. Like, it's obvious to everyone, even the left, but they just didn't want to admit it. And yes, I guess he had a stutter as a kid, but that's not what. There's a difference between a stutter and then, you know, making up words and mumbling and doing, you know what I mean? But yeah, they would just sit there and like, oh my gosh, those are fake, those are this and that. Dude, the left-wing media was covering for Biden. It's all BS, it's all deep fakes, it's all this, it's all that, and attacking people for bringing it up, right? All of them for years. I mean, there's videos, segments of this, what's his name? Well, I guess if I pull it up, I'll be able to read it. Jake or Jack. Is it Jake Tapper? I mean, there's segments of him attacking, you know, people and like, oh my God, you know, trying to dismiss it, right? Now, the dude comes out with a book called Original Sin, President Biden's Decline, Its Cover-Up, and His Disastrous Choice to Run Again. Look at that. Which way is it? It's like, really? These people are just horrendous, and they wonder why nobody watches mainstream media anymore. And I get, you know, I don't know. And then, but, oh man, so this is kind of, so, okay, for people who are like, oh, Trump admin does something bad. So here's the thing. The left, no matter what Biden did, good or wrong, Biden was awesome. No matter what Trump does, good or bad, he's horrible, right? But on the right, and it's probably not everybody, but generally, though, on the right, when we see something that if Trump does that we don't agree with, we say it. You know, hey, that's stupid. Not everything he does is stupendous, right? And, I mean, he's not really, I say Trump, but it's more Trump administration. But so the Epstein files, right? What's her name? Bondi? Pat Bondi or something. The female who's in charge of, she's the secretary of something. Anyway, she says like, oh, the lists are coming out tomorrow, right? And it's like, okay, is it? I don't know. Hopefully, but you know, we've been told this before. And then they had like a little press, or they gave copies to like people that are on YouTube that do like their own news, you know, like the what do you call it? What's the opposite of mainstream? The whatever. And they basically didn't let the mainstream media, and they just kind of turned it into a little bit of a FU to mainstream, which is fine, I guess, except for what's going. But then nothing was really released, and they just kind of did this showboating because they haven't gotten everything yet. And it just was like, dude, I can get sticking it to mainstream media, but not right now, not with this. Let's just you can invite those people and do whatever, but like made it, I don't know, it was kind of like, it reminded me when Rachel Maddow was like, I got Trump's taxes right here. And then she starts to read it. I'm like, okay, yeah, he paid taxes. Anyway, so, that's what it reminded me of, sort of. But anyway. So they're not perfect, I hope that list comes out, man. I hope it does. Hopefully. But anyway. You saw the binder and there's like so much redaction, but the redaction was like the address and personal information of people on the flight logs, which they've already had though, right? Like, I don't know. It's like we want real evidence. We want people to go to jail. Anyway, dude, and if Trump is on there on video in 4K having sex with minors, then he needs to go to jail too. I'm not going to be like, oh, well, But anyway, all right. So last thing is celebrity deaths. We got, what they always say, it comes in threes, right? So we had what's her name? Rachel Trachtenberg or something, who, like, I've known of her, but can't say I remember anything recently. I know she was in a movie that I really like, that I own, actually, Euro Trip, which is pretty funny. Did I already talk about this? I think I did. So that, she was, I did talk about it. And, it was kind of, that is kind of sad, right? She's still pretty young. So that's kind of, it's sad. And now you have Gene Hackman, who died. And it's a bummer, but at the same time, it's like, dude, it was 95. It's not as sad as the other individual because she was so young. He had a full life. Everybody dies. So it's going to happen, right? But it's still kind of, I think it's more like, oh man, that's just another sign of you getting older. You know what I mean? Like, I've known, just like, Trump and Clint Eastwood and stuff, Gene Hackman's always been there. And I've known who he is and this and that. And then now he's old and now he's gone. So that's just a sign of that I'm getting older, right? But I remember the first few headlines were Gene Hackman. Well, the first thing I saw was like, rest in peace, Gene Hackman. I was like, oh, okay, he's 95. I get it. All right. And then I saw something else. Gene Hackman and his wife found dead. And I was like, what? His wife found dead too. What's that about? And then another one where it talks about him and his wife and his dog. And it's like, what is going on? I was like, did they all decide to go out together? Or did they get carbon monoxide poisoning or something? Like, what happened? And when they were first saying it, they were like, oh, there's no foul play, whatever. And it's like, so it must have been carbon monoxide or something, right? And then now they're starting to say, like, there is some oddities. They've been dead for a while. The wife was found, like, in the bathroom, laying on the ground. And there's, like, pills all over the place. And then the one dog is dead, but then I think I read something like the other dogs are outside. So if it was carbon monoxide, that's why, they're alive. But I kind of wonder, like, I think and they're like saying something about mummified, but I think when people hear that, they're thinking like a mummy is like wrapped up, like people had to do something. But mummified, just, their body, just that mummified look, they've been dead. So they've decomposed a lot. So they had been dead for a while. And everybody's just going crazy with like, And, I first heard about this it was yesterday, which meant it was nighttime for everybody in the States. So, I mean, if I wanted to be like, oh, I'm going to make a video on it, or I'm going to do a thing on it right away. I could have been, but it's like, that's just not my thing. I'm not a breaking news kind of person. I mean, I talk a lot about breaking or trending news, but that's not really my goal. Anyway, so I don't know. It's kind of hard to say until we get more information. Like, what were the pills thrown about? So I don't know I don't think like they were like murdered or anything. I'm thinking, they went out together at first, but then it was like, okay, they're in separate rooms. And I was like, well, that's kind of strange. And then they're like, well, she was in the bathroom on the ground. I'm like, well, that's kind of. So based off of everything I just said, which is, it's still ongoing. We don't know everything yet. They're going to do autopsies and so on and so forth. They haven't said what the pills were. I'm kind of thinking it's still like a carbon monoxide, right? I'm kind of thinking this dog was inside. The other dogs were outside. There's carbon monoxide poisoning. Gene Hackman is older, a little easier to take down, right? And then when you're sleeping, you don't notice it. And that's what happens. A lot of people are asleep and then they suffocate. I'm kind of wondering if like maybe she woke up and could tell something was not right and felt, and she went to the bathroom thinking, she needed some Tylenol or something. And then she just kind of passed out and fell on the ground and died. That's what I'm kind of thinking. But again, it's still kind of early because it is pretty strange, the whole thing. But we'll see. I mean, it's kind of, to be 95 and go out in some kind of crazy circumstance like that is just that's kind of sad, I guess, And it's not like in bed surrounded by his family and stuff like that. But it's life, we all got to go. Anyway, that's about it. I just kind of wanted to, I had to kill some time before I go get mouse traps and just felt like talking about those things. So let me know what you think. Send me an email, theobjectivejerk@gmail.com. Appreciate you hanging out, and God bless, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, bye.
You just put yourself through another episode of The Objective Jerk. Thanks again for hanging out with me. Please email me at theobjectivejerk@gmail.com. Like, subscribe, comment, wherever you find this, follow. It all helps. But thanks again, and I'll see you next time.